Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is indeed good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. And gentlemen, tonight is a huge night as we will be recapping Smackdown Live. Not only that, but we also will be recapping AEW Rampage and, of course, the preview of the 35th Royal Rumble premiere event going down tomorrow night. Normally it would be on a Sunday night. No. Tomorrow night from the Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. We're gonna be doing it big, guys. So we got a lot to talk about. Not a lot of time to get through it. So we're gonna try to do this at a reasonable hour for you all. And yes, let's start it off with SmackDown Live, the go-home show to that Royal Rumble. Started off with a promo segment by Charlotte Flair. Then was interrupted by Shayna Baszler. Shayna then was interrupted by Aaliyah, Natalya, Shotzi, and Sasha Banks. Yeah, Sasha Banks back in time for the Royal Rumble event. And yeah, I thought it was a solid promo. I thought it was all right. I'm a little surprised that they did not save the boss. I thought she would have been one of those surprise entrants. You know, her coming back. Of course, she had that injury not too long ago. I think Anthony, Mike Bullock, you guys remember I sent a video not too long ago of her injuring her foot. It was at a live event, and she kind of came down awkwardly on that leg, and a lot of people were really concerned for Sasha's well-being, but lo and behold, she's back just in the nick of time for the Royal Rumble. She has entered herself in the Women's Royal Rumble match that's going down tomorrow night, and yeah, nothing more to say. I thought this was a solid, like I said, solid segment. A lot of moving parts here, and it's all about one thing: being the last woman standing and getting the golden ticket to WrestleMania. And of course, as a little bit of a surprise and an added bonus, Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, will be a part of the 30 Women Royal Rumble match. So if she wins it, she gets to call her shot, call her opponent for WrestleMania. So with that said, Anthony Florio, it is all yours. A lot to unpack here with a lot of women that has their eyes on the golden prize, the main event of WrestleMania.
Well, I'll tell you, MF, this was a fun little preview of the Royal Rumble with major news in the form of Sasha Banks' return. Not only did it play up the Banks Flair tension that will likely rear its head in the Rumble match itself, and it also reintroduced Shayna Baszler and Shotzi, who have inexplicably been stuck in witness protection for the better part of months, just like Aaliyah and Xia Li recently. A fun, inoffensive way to start the show with a big-time entrant into tomorrow's Women's Royal Rumble match. Perfect way to kick off a go-home show as far as I'm concerned. So I would say second best segment of the night. And I told Bullock this earlier. MF, you're hearing this for the first time because Bullock and I, we had an abbreviated Smackdown chat this evening. But MF, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I'm looking more forward to the Women's Royal Rumble match than the Men's Royal Rumble match tomorrow night. Because of all the big names that have already been announced, this segment tonight really, really raised my excitement for the Women's Royal Rumble match tenfold. So that's all there is for me to say about it. We'll dive in as to who we think will win it. I've got some interesting theories that I'm going to share during that. So, but Sasha coming back, I mean, she wasn't supposed to be back until at least another I want to say maybe month or so. I think either the end of February or early March, she was initially due to be back, because they said 6 to 8 weeks, but I'm guessing she probably did an aggressive rehab. That's probably what she did. She probably really, really pushed herself in the rehab process, and that's why she's back. And quite frankly, I'm happy. I mean, her not being in it, definitely we thought it was going to put a damper on it, but now that she's in it, in the immortal words of good old JR, business has indeed picked up in a big way. So, and she now puts herself up there as one of the favorites to win the Women's Royal Rumble match tomorrow night. So there isn't much more for me to say on this. Second best segment of the night. Great way and a perfect way to start off a go-home show as far as I'm concerned. So not much more to say about it. Michael Bullock, Phenom, come on in. I mean, our SmackDown chat did not start here. It started later on, but we talked about this during it, and you heard what I said. I told you that earlier, and I just told MF now. After what we saw tonight, now more than ever, I'm looking more forward to the Women's Rumble match tomorrow night, more than the men's.
Yeah, I mean, with that and this promo here, this definitely makes me look more forward to this than the men's Royal Rumble match. But yeah, and I was a little surprised about Sasha Banks returning. I mean, I thought they would save her for the Royal Rumble match, because you know how much you always like to get those surprise entrants. I thought maybe they would save it for them, but obviously they had her return tonight. So, and basically sending a message to the Queen that I'm the boss and I'm gonna win this Women's Royal Rumble. So we'll wait and see how it goes. So this was a fine segment here. So there's really nothing more to say except let's move on.
First fight of the night on SmackDown Live we had was Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Ricochet and Cesaro. Sheamus and Ridge Holland wins the match in 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Good, solid tag team match featuring three of the best wrestlers under the WWE umbrella and a young star in Ridge Holland who will benefit exponentially from working alongside them. The heels winning was an interesting choice, given how many times the Celtic Warrior and his protege have beaten Cesaro and Ricochet, but SmackDown officials clearly see them as a big part of the brand moving forward. Perhaps in the Intercontinental Championship picture, as possible foils for Shinsuke Nakamura and or Rick Boogs. Whatever the case may be, Sheamus has been on a hell of a low-key roll, winning his last 3 televised matches. The first, a 2-on-1 handicap victory over his opponents tonight as part of the Day 1 kickoff show 4 weeks ago. So he's definitely made himself one of the favorites in the men's Royal Rumble match, which he's won before 10 years ago in the very city that they're going to be in tomorrow, St. Louis, albeit it's not the Kiel Center, Enterprise Center, whatever they call it now, in St. Louis. We're talking about the Dome in America's Center. So that's a much larger venue. And what a night. So, and I forgot to mention when I first started this, it's a special night for us tonight, gentlemen, because it was 10 years ago tonight, January 28th, 2012, that myself and MF and the man who created this show had our very first Wrestling Forum broadcast when we previewed the 2012 Royal Rumble. So happy anniversary, gentlemen, when it comes to the Wrestling Forum. Of course, you know our big show coming up on Thursday that MF will have more details on as we when we get to the end of the show, when he plugs the future content. But for right now, 10 years ago tonight, started on Ustream and then we moved to Google and YouTube, and now here we are on YouTube and StreamYard. And 10 years, man, it flies by. That's all I can say on that, especially when you're doing something you love like this. So, but anywho, I will give this about 3.25 stars for the effort. One of the fights of the night for sure. And that's really all there is to say on that. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Sheamus and Rich Holland keep on rolling. And boy, oh boy, Cesaro. Oh my God. You can't help but feel bad for this guy. I mean, here he was 8 months ago challenging Roman Reigns and taking him to the limit at WrestleMania Backlash. And since then, he's been nothing but an afterthought. And what a damn shame for such a great talent.
Yeah, it's a damn shame about Cesaro. I mean, to me, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I mean, Cesaro to me deserves way better than this. I mean,
Amen.
Like you said, 8 months ago, this guy was wrestling Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania Backlash. And here he is now losing to Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Yeah, that's boy, what a fall for Cesaro. And I thought that after that maybe this was the start of something. No. This was the beginning of his downfall, and not in a good way. So yeah, 3 stars for me on this. I mean, yeah, the heels winning was interesting, but it does give especially Sheamus some momentum going into that men's Royal Rumble match. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say except Fletch, I give it to you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're absolutely right about that too. It's been pretty rough lately for Cesaro, but they really feel like Rich Holland and Sheamus can definitely make some runs here, and they've done pretty well for themselves. So we'll wait and see how this plays out. But I will say this time around, we'll see how it plays out. So next up we had was Naomi versus Sonia Deville. We finally had a match, no shenanigans. No whatever, a true match, one-on-one. Naomi wins it. 11 minutes, 45 seconds. But hold, there's some more. Sonia Deville gets on the mic saying that I cannot let this stand at all. And I'm thinking, oh no. Is she gonna strip Naomi of the right to be in the Royal Rumble like she did with the Survivor Series? No. Sonia Deville has now entered herself into the Royal Rumble match. So, Michael Bullock, we were thinking one thing. We got something completely other. Sonia Deville is now going to try to take Naomi out in the Royal Rumble match on tomorrow night.
Yeah, and Fletch, I got a funny feeling of how this is gonna go if it goes the way it is. And you know where I'm going with this, Florio. You certainly know where the hell I'm going with this. First, Naomi. Right. First, I think Naomi is going to eliminate Sonia Deville, and then for some shrewd reason, Sonia's probably going to find a way to get in there and eliminate Naomi. And you know, Fletch, and you know too, Florio, this is where I have the problem.
As do I.
You know what? We'll get into that later tonight. I know where you're going because this has always been. I'm going to say, there's certain things in a Royal Rumble match that has been staples, either the upset elimination or anything else. But yes, there's always an elimination where someone gets thrown out, somebody's been eliminated, and then that eliminated person sneaks their way back in and dumps out one of the favorites in the Rumble match, or someone that we think is going to go far and then get robbed out of the WrestleMania spotlight.
Yeah, well,
so, yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go further deep into that when we preview both of those Royal Rumble matches, and this is where I'm gonna go off on them. Because quite frankly, Fletch, I'm getting sick and tired of this every time. So this to me needs to be addressed. So we'll get into that. So 3 stars is my rating. Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, look, the match was good. The match was solid. The match was fine. I think there was nothing bad about it. I mean, at the end of the day, look, Sonya gets the win. I should say Naomi gets the win. Sonya finally loses. She finally gets her comeuppance. We think is her comeuppance. That doesn't necessarily mean she will. She could instantly steal that right back tomorrow night in the Rumble match. Maybe they do a Pearl Harbor job. Maybe they gang. She gets a couple of people to gang up on Naomi, and out she goes. So we could see that happen. If that happens, that's perfectly legal. That is within the rules of the Royal Rumble. Even though a lot of times we always say it's every person for themselves. You remember, it's sometimes in Royal Rumbles, there are some alliances. That does happen. Especially if you get a group like a Shield or like like the Nexus, or if you get a tag team that can work together, or like I say, a lot of times when you get a big man in the Royal Rumble, and then all of a sudden you get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys gang up on that big guy to get him out of there. We've seen that happen in a Royal Rumble match. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. This is going to be very interesting to watch. As far as for the match, yes, it's a 3-star bout. I thought it was nicely done. There were some moments that it wasn't perfect. I mean, it was a little clunky in some areas. Maybe they're going too fast, or somebody missed a spot here or there. So I can give you that. But at the end of the day, Naomi gets the win. Naomi gets the moment. She finally gets Sonya, give her comeuppance. But like I said, Anthony Florio, Sonya, she's not going to let that moment rest easily. She's got a plan. Can she execute it tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble?
As the great band Asia once famously sang, MF, only time will tell. That's all there is to say on that. But anyways, I got to say, by default, this was the fight of the night. I'm going to give this between 3.25, teetering on 3.5 stars. When you take into consideration that Sonia Deville had not wrestled a televised match since August of 2020, I believe that was SummerSlam, this was better than expected. The chemistry was solid. Sonia Deville looked fantastic, and Naomi is a superb babyface. If there is one negative, it was that the crowd in Kansas City let the performers down. Maybe it's because the creative team waited too long to deliver the match, or that the Sasha Banks surprise at the start of the show burned them out. But the showdown definitely earned a hotter reaction than what it got here. Sonya booking herself in the Rumble match is such a great reactionary heel move. And I hate to say this, but I think the only way it gets better is if she is directly responsible for costing Naomi an opportunity at a Smackdown or the women's title shot for WrestleMania in the Rumble match. I mean, from a creative standpoint, me personally, I don't want to see that. I'm right there with Bullock when it comes to the controversy, the Royal Rumble match controversy on both the men's and women's sides, because we've seen that way too many times, and you know they're gonna shove that BS down our throats again tomorrow night. Trust you me. With our luck, they probably will.
And if that happens, Florio, watch out. I'm channeling my inner Phenom Sunday night when we recap this, and it's not going to be pretty.
You're going to have to get in line, big boy. That's all I'm saying right there. So, but anyways, because I'll be the first in line for that. Well, it depends on who leads off, but anyways, right there with you, man. But anywho, like I said, default fight of the night, 3.25, 3.5 stars. Well executed match, great. And what has been the ammo of SmackDown? What have they been known for since Brand Extension 2.0 started? Storyline progression. And like it or not, this was perfect storyline progression. I'm saying that from a professional standpoint. From a personal standpoint, I hate it because I got a bad feeling about this. And I'll be honest with you, going in, I was considering Naomi as my pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble match because we thought she had cleared the Sonya hurdle. Well, after this development, I may have to rethink that. So I'll get back to you shortly. But for right now, 3.25, 3.5, fight of the night for me. Default fight of the night for me. So apparently the story continues on. We thought this would have been the end of it, but nope. There's still some gas left in this tank. So and we'll see what happens tomorrow. So not much more to say, MF. Let's continue on.
All right. So then after that, we did have a few promo segments, so we're not gonna really talk about it unless it was like a significant one. And unfortunately for me, I didn't see anything significant. What we did have was one other match in the evening, as it was. Let's see. First off, we had was all right. It was the Sami Zayn, like a Sami Zayn podcast. I'm not even getting into that. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Rick Boogs and Nakamura wins in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Then we had Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss going up against Big E and Kofi Kingston. The New Day wins the match 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Solid match. I thought it was an all right. I did like the body of work of when it comes to our good friend Big E and Kofi. They did look good. I think you can definitely predict that. I think you'll think that Big E should have a good run in the Royal Rumble. You know, Kofi will always will have a high some kind of highlight reel moment for us going into the game. It's going into the Royal Rumble itself. So you know something's gonna happen there. Something big is gonna happen. But at the end of the day, we'll wait and see who it plays out. But without a doubt, it's gonna be very interesting to watch. But yeah, like you said, we're talking about Big E and Kofi. I think they're gonna look pretty good. And yeah, there's really nothing more to add here. So I just think this is about 2.5 to 3. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 for me. Man, watching Big E and Kofi team together again is so fun. It has been so long that it was easy to forget how well-oiled a machine they are when they are partners. Their chemistry is off the charts. Dare I say even better than that of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. The speed and the agility of Kingston combined with Big E's power-based offense mesh so well together that when they hit their stride, it's difficult to imagine a team better than them, including the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. A win over Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss may set them up for another showdown with Jimmy and Jay before all is said and done. Now, there is something that definitely needs to be addressed here. And now I can confirm it. And MF, you're going to be very, very happy when I'm about to say here. I just found this dirt sheet, and it appears Big E is once again a SmackDown superstar. On tonight's show, Kayla Braxton mentioned in a backstage segment that the former WWE champion was officially back on the blue brand. Shortly after the segment, WWE's official Twitter account confirmed the move, reuniting Big E. And as of this, with the New Day, obviously, and as of this writing, it is not known. It's not known which superstar Raw will receive in return. Whoever it is, I hope it's someone good. That's all I'm going to say. It better not be who I think it is. And if it is, I'm going to be really pissed off about it. But we'll see. Big E and Kofi went on to defeat Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss in that tag match. And as noted, Big E and WWE champion Brock Lesnar are currently tied as the odds-on favorites to win the 30-man Royal Rumble match tomorrow night. And rounding out the top 5 was AJ Styles, even Roman Reigns, and even Kevin Owens. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But yep, it is official. MF, Big E's back on Team Blue, just like that. So I know that's got to make you very happy. So that's all I have to say here. So it's a 2.5-star match, and unless MF has something he wants to say about it, I'll give it to Michael Bullock. Big E back on SmackDown, Bullock. You wanted me to look into it, and because Bullock found the Twitter post, he found it, and he wanted me to look into it. So I looked into it, Bullock, and there you go. It is now official. Big E is back on Team Blue.
Yep. Yep. Big E back on the Blue brand, and that means the New Day, I guess you could say, is back together with King Woods, Kofi, and now Big E. And if you get those three together, I think we might get that legendary entrance again. So, yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating on this. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So, Fletch, I give it to you.
All right, guys, and we do lead off, and it leads us to the main event segment of the evening, which was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins promo. Anthony Florio, they left nothing to be. There was nothing to be left. No stone unturned. These two men left us with one heck of a battle, and now all roads lead to St. Louis, and what's undoubtedly going to be one heck of a Universal title fight.
This was the segment of the night. This was the best of the face-to-face segments between these two, with the emphasis of it being the breakup of the Shield. It really is disappointing that we did not get to that topic more in the weeks leading into the Rumble, but Roman's reaction to it and the manner in which Rollins was able to use his emotions against him was a great bit of booking. It also sets up the story of their Universal Championship match tomorrow night. The line about Roman Reigns' quote-unquote 30-day vacay, a reference to the wellness policy suspension that occurred shortly after Rollins defeated him back at the 2016 Money in the Bank pay-per-view for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, was savage and added an even sharper edge to the proceedings. So we were already excited about this match going in, but they added to it here tonight. And of course, so what really put it over the top was when Seth went there by saying that Roman's family was a joke, saying that his dad was a joke, his uncle was a joke. You get the idea. So, and it seems like a reversal of fortune. It seemed like last week they were positioning Rollins as the baby face and Rollins and Roman as the heel, but I think it was reversed tonight. I think they were trying to make Roman look like the baby face and Seth as the heel. So, which is what makes this very tough, because we don't know who are we supposed to cheer for? Are we supposed to cheer for Roman, or are we supposed to cheer for Seth? Because they're both heels, for goodness sakes. So, well, all I know is that crowd in St. Louis is going to enjoy this thing tomorrow night. And this one has the potential, outside of the Rumble matches, to steal the show. So, I mean, you can make an argument, well, with the exception of one match, maybe two. With the exception of two matches, you've got 4 or 5 possible show stealers with both Rumble matches and these two world title matches. So there are 2 matches I have concerns about. We'll address that in a bit, but for right now, this was the segment of the night. This was very well done. And Bullock, I don't know about you, but my excitement level for this Universal title match just went up sky high after this promo tonight.
Oh, same with me. I mean, especially with what they've been doing, and yeah, the back and forth tonight. I mean, especially Rollins bringing up the times that he's owned Roman, especially with the heist of the century, and then of course beating him at Money in the Bank. So it's almost like he's trying to get inside Roman's head, and for him to say that that Roman's family is a joke, even his Universal title reign is a joke. And yeah, like I said, with his family being a joke, but I guess as the old saying goes, what goes around comes around. I mean, Roman brought up that Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch, and I guess said, "Oh, you want to poke fun at my family? You want to mess with my family? I'll mess with your family." So, yeah, this really, really intrigues me now. So, there's really nothing more to say except Fletch. I mean, I really like this build with these two. I mean, the back and forth, the personal attacks. So, what says you?
Dude, it can't get any better than this. This is one of those moments where we were just so excited, and now we're just like, oh my god, we're just hours away from the Royal Rumble event, and I think there's no other way you could have done it any better than this. So for me, awesome, amazing, truly great segments all the way around. Michael Bullock, you actually lead off on the overall review. So, what did you think of the go home show for SmackDown heading to Rumble?
Oh, I thought it was an all right show. I mean, you did have you had some good matches. You had a couple of good promos. I mean, there were some other things that to me, I mean, could have been better. So I think for me, I think 6. I think is the best I can go with it. I mean, I can't go any higher than that. I mean, like I said, there were some things on this that could have been better, but all in all, I thought it was enough for it to be a good show. Not great, but good enough. So Fletch, it is yours.
I could say about 6.5. I agree with that. I think they did all right for the most part. I think they gave us some good moments. I don't think it was. I don't think it was all was great. I think there was some moments where some were good, some were not so great, some were okay, some could have been better. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like they did what they needed it to do, and it was pretty solid enough. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours. Like I said, solid. It was solid and good, but as far as a go home show to Rumble, I think they held it for the most part.
They did. I'm right there. I will give this 6.5. I'm leaning more towards 6.5 myself. I mean, you had two very good. You had the opening segment, which was very good with all the women. You had that closing segment with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Both of those delivered. You had two very good matches. You had two good matches. You had one solid in the middle kind of match. So I'm thinking more like 6.5, maybe even 7. I think 6.5 to 7 may be the best for this. I mean, and also because of the storyline progression that went into this show tonight, especially for the Royal Rumble. I mean, you raised our excitement level for Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins Universal title match. You raised our excitement level for the Women's Royal Rumble match, especially for me, after what we saw in that opening segment. So Naomi and Sonia had the default fight of the night, and you had a very good tag match with Sheamus and Holland against Cesaro and Ricochet. The other tag match was all right, and I'm going to tell you something right now. There's one talent on SmackDown that we need to keep our eye on in this calendar year. Someone who I feel has breakout potential, and that someone is Rick Boogs. I mean, what he did tonight against Shanky. Shanky is not a cruiserweight or a little baby by any means. He's like probably around that 6'9", 6'10", 7-foot mark, well over 300 pounds. And Rick Boogs picked him up like he was a damn cruiserweight or a small child, for goodness sakes. Rick Boogs is someone you got to keep an eye on in 2022. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, just wanted to get that off my chest real quick since we didn't address it. But anyways, 6.5 to 7, solid go-home show. They did a great job with it, and they definitely piqued our interests and our excitement levels for the Rumble, especially the Women's Rumble match and Rollins and Reigns. So, not much more to say. MF, let's get to Rampage.
All right, we will indeed start off with Rampage. Here we go, guys, and we do now start jump it off with the first bout of the night, as it was Jon Moxley versus Anthony Bowens. Mox wins the match in 12 minutes and 3 seconds. I think it was a little more longer than it was supposed to be. I think it could have been. This should have been more of a delicious squash for Moxley. Anthony Bowens is a good talent. I just don't think. I think they kind of did a little bit of a disservice here. If you're gonna make Moxley look really good, I think it should have been more of an easy performance, a dominating performance than anything else. I do not know about how this played out. I think it was good for what it was worth. I think it could have been a lot more better. It was still 2.5 to 3, but Anthony, with the talent of Jon Moxley versus the talent of Anthony Bowens, this should have been a delicious squash. This should not have gone as long as it did.
Agreed. However, both competitors looked fired up for this match. For Anthony Bowens, this was one of his biggest singles matches since joining AEW. You could tell he was taking it seriously. Jon Moxley had good energy and appears to be right back in the groove after his hiatus. This match is not a 5-star classic or anything like that, but it was a fun, energetic encounter between two talented performers. They didn't make any big mistakes and sold well for each other. The final few minutes I felt were definitely the best part. So I will give this in excess of 3 to 3.25. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me here. I mean, I thought this to me should have been a delicious squash. I mean, no disrespect to the talent on both sides, but look, Jon Moxley I think should have had no problem with Anthony Bowens here. So yeah, nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
All right, and then the next thing we have is the FTR versus Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson. FTR wins the match in 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
This was without a doubt the best match Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson have had in AEW. Both men are still young, so seeing them perform this well at this early stage in their careers means they will both be forces to be reckoned with in a few years. This match had a little bit of everything. Lee Johnson took care of hitting some high-flying moves, while the other three men focused more on brawling and grappling attacks. The chemistry between these teams was surprisingly good. Anderson and Johnson could wind up being a big part of the tag team division by the end of the year if they keep this up. 3 to 3.25 stars. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
What did you give it, Florio?
I gave it 3 to 3.25.
Yeah, 3.25 is my rating for this match. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fine match for what it was here. So there's really nothing more to add to it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
3.25 stars. I totally agree with what you guys are saying. I thought they did a good job with this. This was a solid match. I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be a lot more stronger or maybe even better. But, for what it was worth, I think they did what it needed to be done. So I think they did a solid job. I don't think it was anything overly special, but it was still good. It was still a great match, great battle. The body of work of everybody involved was solid. And yeah, so there's really nothing more to add, guys. So next up we had was the TBS champion, Jade Cargill, putting the title on the line against Julia Hart. Jade Cargill dominates and destroys Julia Hart, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Michael Bullock, you don't have to talk about this one. Look, this is what it was meant to be. A delicious squash. Jade still undefeated, still dominating the TBS champion. Very well done. So nothing more to say. Main event of the show was the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. The champions, the Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy going up against the Private Party. Michael Bullock, you lead off on this one. 10 minutes and 52 seconds. Winners and still the AEW World Tag Team champions, Jurassic Express. They keep the belts.
Yeah, I mean, this to me was a solid match here. I'll give it about 3.25 stars for this one. I mean, yeah, I mean, to me, the outcome was never in doubt. I knew that they were going to retain it. They Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy continue to impress as the champs. So I think it's onward for these two. And now the old question is, who's next? Who's going to be next in line to challenge these two? So nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, nothing more to say. This was about, I would say, about a solid 3 stars. So yeah, it was solid for what it was worth. It was pretty good. Really nothing more to add. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Look, there's a lot of contenders. There's gonna be a lot of teams coming after those belts. We already know that. But as long as they keep giving us good, solid matches, this is gonna end up being a very good title reign for them. They're just clicking, man. They're just doing what they need to do, get the job done. Like Pat McAfee says, uh, thank, uh, uh, thank you, moving. No, it's keep it moving. Get it done, keep it moving. That's all he normally would say. And yeah, this was a solid performance. So nothing more to say here. Anthony, it's yours.
3.25, 3.5. This was a good main event with some fun high spots and double team combos. There might have been a little too much going on at once toward the end, but you could usually follow who was legal and who wasn't. Matt Hardy and the Blade getting involved is another example of AEW relying a little too much on outside interference, but it didn't change the outcome, so it wasn't too bad. 3.25, 3.5. Let's get to the overall review.
Good AEW Rampage. I think the only bad match that I think came out of this was the Julia Hart versus Jay Cargill match. Other than that, everything was good to solid to great. So for me, end of the day, they did it well. This was really well done. So I'm gonna give this a solid. I'll probably say maybe 7.5 out of 10. You could even maybe 7.75. I know that's a little bit of a reach, but I mean 7.5. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
7.5 for me. This was a strong week for Rampage in terms of in-ring competition. All 4 matches were enjoyable in different ways and are worth taking the time to check out if you missed the show live. So strong week here. 7.5. Michael Bullock, quick thought, and then we'll get ready for the Rumble.
Yeah, 7 to 7.5 for me. I thought this was a solid edition of AEW Rampage. So, there's really nothing more to say about it. You guys pretty much touched on it. So let's get on to the Royal Rumble preview.
We will start it off with the first match of the night, which is The Miz and Maurice versus Beth Phoenix and Edge mixed tag. I think I'm going to be openly honest with this one. This should be I think it's going to be Edge and Beth Phoenix winning the match. I don't understand why they would bring, a major couple here and then let them lose to Miz and Maurice unless they want to prolong the storyline. Because honestly, I thought initially Miz was going to beat Edge the first time around and they gave it to Edge. Now you got the mixed couples here. This is one of those where if you're booking this, I don't see how on earth Miz and Maurice wins this match. I honestly don't. I think they're going to give it to the Hall of Famers. I got Edge and Beth Phoenix winning this match. Anthony, it's yours.
One of 2 matches on this card that's very easy to call here. I 100% agree with it. I too have Edge and Beth Phoenix, the grit couple, knocking off the it couple. The feud between these 2 married couples has been really fun and has made for some good television. The couples have clearly relished being able to work together on screen. Maurice especially has been a bright spot and adds so much whenever she's with The Miz. It's a bit of a surprise that this mixed tag is happening now instead of at WrestleMania 38. I think the reason why they're doing it now is because I think WWE has plans for Edge to move on from Miz and into a different feud for WrestleMania. So So with that, I'm going with the grit couple, Edge and Beth Phoenix. Michael Bullock, are we going to make it unanimous? Bullock? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous here. I'm gonna go with the Edge and Beth Phoenix here. Yeah, Miz and Maurice going over to me would make absolutely no sense here, and yeah, so there's really nothing more to add to it. This is an easy call, so let's move on to the next match.
All right, next up we have is the Raw Women's title on the line as Big Time Bex, the man, Becky Lynch, goes up against Doudrop. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
I said there were two matches I was concerned about as far as quality goes. We just talked about them both right here. I have some doubts about the mixed tag being any good, but we'll see. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think this has the potential to be the worst fight of the night by default. I mean, Becky Lynch's program with Doudrop is similar to the title defenses she recently made against Liv Morgan. Doudrop is really talented and does benefit from being in the Raw Women's Championship picture, but she's ultimately a weak challenger who no one believes can actually beat the man. Keeping Lynch strong on the road to WrestleMania is definitely what's most important. Still, WWE cannot allow Doudrop to just fall back down the card after tomorrow. It needs to actually capitalize on the momentum that's gained from putting someone in a title match. I could see her definitely giving Becky some fits, but I just don't know if this is going to be any good or not. It could be. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. But regardless, winner and still the Raw Women's Champion, Big Time Bex, the man, Becky Lynch, and Bullock. As I told you during our Raw chat the other night, we were wondering why Doudrop was in this match. It's very simple. They want to make sure that the man comes around to WrestleMania 38 as the Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah, I mean, like you said about that, then, I mean, this is another easy call. Becky Lynch retains the title, and, yeah, I mean, Doudrop is a weak challenger, but obviously, like you said, they want to keep Becky Lynch strong going into WrestleMania season, where they'll probably have bigger and better things for her, so we'll wait and see how it goes, but either way, Big Time Bex, the man, will still be your Raw Women's Champion. So, nothing more to say. Fletch, are we going to make it unanimous?
It is unanimous for me. Becky Lynch successfully defends the title. There was a point where we all thought Bianca Belair was probably going to upend her. Nope. We thought maybe Liv Morgan upend her. Nope. Does anybody honestly think that Doudrop's going to be the one to dethrone Becky? I don't think so, guys. I think, like you said, I think they're grooming her for the run all the way up to WrestleMania. Big Time Bex, Becky Lynch successfully defends the title. She'll win it yet again. Really nothing more to add there, guys. So now we are down to 4 matches. These are the big money matches that will lead us onto the road to WrestleMania. We start off with the WWE Championship. The champion, Brock Lesnar, going one-on-one with the challenger, Bobby Lashley, Michael Bullock. This was a match we were waiting years for. We all thought maybe this is a future WrestleMania match. We're getting it 2 to 3 months earlier. We're getting it tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble.
And Fletch, I know you are salivating at this because you say you like BMN fights. Well, this is obviously the biggest BMN fight that we have ever seen. I mean, everybody was wondering ever since Bobby Lashley came back to the WWE. There was one match everybody wanted to see, and that was the Almighty and the Beast Incarnate. I mean, this was, a match. as time went by, we all thought maybe this wasn't going to happen, but because of the things that went down at day one, especially with Roman's COVID positive test, they put Lesnar into the WWE title picture. He wins it, and now we're getting the payoff. These are two powerhouses that, I mean, you know that and you know what? I feel for whoever's going to ref this match, because he's going to have a hard time controlling these two powerhouses. And man, this is something I cannot wait to see go down tomorrow night with these two. So with that being said, I'm going to say winner and still WWE champion, or should I say, as Paul Heyman would say, and still your reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. Fletch, it is yours.
Wow. How do I follow that? My goodness. Well, I'm in agreement. I think Brock will win. I think Brock will successfully defend. Sorry, I muted myself for a moment. I got a little too amped there. I still believe that he will successfully defend the title. At the end of the day, I think it will be Brock Lesnar walking out still the World Wrestling Entertainment Champion. I think he will some way, somehow get the job done. And Anthony Florio, I hope they reinforce the ring, because they might literally blow the roof off of the dome at the America Center in St. Louis tomorrow night, because my God, when you get these two big men in that ring, not just a BMN fight, but in the immortal words of the late great Gorilla Monsoon, Anthony, it's going to be a happening.
Oh, it's going to be a happening. You know what else is going to be, MF? It's going to be something else. That's what that's going to be. And if we're going to throw out Gorilla sayings, but anywho, this will be the first time Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley ever faced each other in a singles match, with both having backgrounds in MMA. It's a matchup that's long felt inevitable, but it's only happening now because WWE was forced to alter its plans. When Roman Reigns tested positive for COVID-19 ahead of day one, his Universal Championship defense against Brock Lesnar had to be pulled from the show. Lesnar was instead added to the WWE Championship match at day one and defeated Big E, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley to win the title. Lesnar and Lashley's interactions in that fatal five-way match at day one were great. It's often hard for dream matches to live up to such high expectations, but Lesnar and Lashley are ideal opponents for each other. Now, I think it's about time we shake things up around here. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, I believe, is likely to main event one of the nights of this year's WrestleMania. Unless it's going to be a title-for-title match, one of them is going to have to drop their championship before then. I believe that could happen here, with Brock Lesnar somehow getting screwed over and losing the WWE Championship. So you know what? Woo! I am lone wolfing this, and I am saying Bobby Lashley is going to walk out the new WWE Champion. Period. And a statement and a quotation. Move on.
Wow. Woo! That is bold. Aye. Well, I hope you're right. I'll say that, Florio. If you're right, I'll bow down to that one, man. I'm gonna say I'll do the Wayne's World. I'm not worthy. I'm scum, and I do suck. If you get that one right, I'll gladly do it.
Hey, I didn't win the pigskin pick'em in our Strictly Sports League for nothing, you know.
Yeah, that's true. No doubt. All right. So next up, boys, we got is the Universal title match, as it is Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And as a side note, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, will not be allowed at ringside. So here's my thing. I've been hearing rumors that Brock Lesnar is about to go back to Smackdown and that he's going to take the WWE Championship to Smackdown. Consequently, Seth Rollins is technically a Monday Night Raw talent. And you need a belt to go to Monday Night Raw. So, Anthony, you're right about that a title will change. You just picked the wrong belt in my mind. Because in my prediction, and I might be lone wolfing this on my own, I think Seth is going to do it. I think Seth Rollins will be the one to finally end the reign of Roman Reigns and take the Universal title back to Monday Night Raw. Brock goes to SmackDown. You get Brock versus you'll get Brock versus Roman at Mania for the WWE Championship, and whoever wins the Royal Rumble, I believe, will set up Seth Rollins versus whoever for the Universal title at WrestleMania. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, my prediction, the winner and new Universal Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Anthony, it's yours.
Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins is another match that is happening because WWE had to alter its plans. It appeared that Drew McIntyre was going to be next in line for a Universal Championship shot. But with McIntyre out of action due to neck issues, Raw's Seth Rollins is challenging for SmackDown's top title. Playing off of their history with each other in the Shield has made Reigns versus Rollins easy to build to, and there's no doubt that it will deliver in the ring. However, it makes more sense for Brock Lesnar to be the challenger if he's going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So with that being said, I respectfully disagree, and I say Roman Reigns should retain against Rollins and enter WrestleMania 38 as the Universal Champion. I still believe in my heart of hearts he's going to do that because he's the tribal chief. Let's be realistic. So, and until I see otherwise, I haven't seen it yet. But if this happens tomorrow, okay, I'll give it to you. I'll do the Wayne's World thing if it comes to it. But for right now, it's going to, I still believe it's got to be Roman. So until I see otherwise. So for me, winner and still the Universal Champion, your tribal chief and the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Michael Bullock, age-old question. Who do you agree with? Do you agree with me and the tribal chief? Or are you gonna take the jump and go with MF and Seth Rollins shocks the world?
Sorry, Fletch, but I'm with Anthony Florio on this one. I mean, I have to go with the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, to retain the Universal title. I mean, would I be surprised if Seth Rollins wins? No, I wouldn't be surprised, but somehow I still think Roman will find a way and retain. So Roman is still going to be your Universal Champion. So Fletch, let's get into the two Royal Rumble matches.
Before we do, there's one other point that needs to be made about this. And Bullock, you know where I'm going. We talked about it during our Smackdown chat. Roman Reigns has never beaten Seth Rollins in big-time matches. Remember the Heist of the Century, WrestleMania 31, and Money in the Bank 2016. I believe Roman's due. That's why we're going with him.
All right. With that said, now we do go into the Royal Rumble matches. We will start with the men Royal Rumble match. Anthony Florio will lead it off. Just to let you fine folks know, so far there has been 25 out of 30 competitors that have been announced for the Royal Rumble. 5, we do not know who they are at the moment. and we probably won't know until the night of the event. The 25 at the moment are, in no particular order, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Austin Theory, Johnny Knoxville, Sheamus, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens, Omos, Randy Orton, Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boogs, and Ricochet. Anthony Floyo, those are the 25 of the 30 that will be entering the Royal Rumble match. But in your expert opinion, who walks out the winner of the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble match?
Of the announced entrants, there aren't any obvious candidates to win the Men's Royal Rumble. But before we get into that, something that needs to be addressed when it comes to not just this Rumble match, but the women's as well. There's nothing that grinds my gears and grinds Michael Bullock's gears more than when a superstar is eliminated from the match by someone who's either already been eliminated or by someone who's not even in the match. Enough is enough. It's damn time for a change when it comes to that. But considering how much they love to shove that down our throats every year, I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least one instance in both matches. Sucks, but it's true. But
to WWE, in the immortal words of Angry Edge, wake up!
Wake up! Yeah, absolutely. So, but anyways, now that we got that disclaimer out of the way, now let's get down to business. Like I said, of the announced entrants, there are not any obvious candidates to win the Men's Royal Rumble. There are possible contenders like Big E or Kevin Owens, but no one has really been built up for a Rumble win. Much of the build has been centered on Jackass star Johnny Knoxville being one of the 30 participants in this match and only the second celebrity to participate in the Royal Rumble match, the other being Drew Carey back in 2001. And there has to be a reason that so few candidates to win have emerged ahead of this Men's Royal Rumble match. The best bet is that either Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns will lose their respective title earlier in the night. And I believe one of them will also enter the Men's Rumble and go on to win the match. I said Brock Lesnar was going to lose his title, and I said Roman was going to successfully defend. So with that being said, if I'm wrong on this, whatever, but I'm going to do it anyway. The winner of the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble match, whether you like it or not, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, who do you have winning the Men's Royal Rumble match?
Well, because I got both guys retaining their titles, so this doesn't make it easy for me. So not a lot of worthy candidates, but man, oh man, I have a tough time with this one because a lot of guys are just not potential favorites. So you know what? I'm just going to take a guess on this one, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to go with AJ Styles to win this one. So that's who I'm going to go with, and if I'm wrong on this one, I'm wrong. Fletch, it's yours. Fletch?
Right now, I would have to say it's wide open right now, like you said. I think right now this could go a number of ways. If you want to go for a favorite, I would probably go with Big E. I think Big E would be the guy that I would call for, that I think will win the Men's Royal Rumble. one other person I'm gonna throw out there, and I know it definitely can be very, would be very interesting, would be Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens has a legitimate case to win the Royal Rumble. I think if he gets it, if he wins the Rumble, that'd be awesome if it's Owens, because that would set up Seth versus Owens for WrestleMania. That'd be a great match. And then, of course, I just don't see any guy from SmackDown, unfortunately, not this year, because I really think that they're going to want to do Brock versus Roman. So that will be your SmackDown main event to WrestleMania. So I think it will be one of the Raw guys this time around that's going to get the Duke. And the two that I think right now that sticks out like a sore thumb would be either Big E or Kevin Owens. So I think it's going to be one of them two. The only person that'd be a real wild card is if for some way, some reason, Drew McIntyre comes back in time. Now, we now know that he did not need surgery, which is great. But will he be back in time for the Rumble? I don't think he will. Therefore, my prediction is the winner of the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble. I think it's either going to be Big E or Kevin Owens. I think one of these two is going to win the Royal Rumble tomorrow. I just can't pick one. I can't pick one over the other. So that would be my pick. Either Owens or Big E is winning the Royal Rumble tomorrow. Now, with the women, here we go, guys. As of right now, 23 out of the 30 have been declared for the Royal Rumble. They are, in no particular order, Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Tamina, Shotzi Blackheart, Natalya, Aaliyah, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Lita, Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, Mickie James, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Sasha Banks, Sonia Deville, Michael Bullock. Who do you think wins the Women's Royal Rumble match?
Yeah. Man, I mean, it's a who's who when it comes to the women. I mean, so many names pop out at me, but for some reason, and I don't know why, I just got this funny feeling. I think Lita is going to win this one because she made it perfectly clear that she came back for one more run. And of course, the interaction with her and Charlotte Flair. So I think something tells me that they're going to have Lita win this one. And I think maybe she would challenge Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. So with the way they're building it, I don't know. I just got this funny feeling that Lita's going to win this one. So that's who I'm going to go with. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, Fletch, it is yours.
You know what, Michael Bullock? I actually 1000% agree with you. And actually, I'm going to go the same way. I got Lita winning the Royal Rumble. I think Lita, look, she even admitted it. Years ago when she was wrestling, the Royal Rumble were for the men. There was no Women's Royal Rumble at the time. She wasn't in the first one. It was her bestie Trish, and we all remember some of those famous encounters they had. Now, one tends to wonder, is it possible Could we see Trish in the Rumble? Because we got 23 names. That means there's 7 that are not counted. Who on earth could be the final 7 that will round out this 30 woman list? There's rumors maybe Lacey Evans being one of them. There's rumors that maybe Bayley could be back, even though we know that Bayley suffered a major MCL or ACL injury. But could she be back in time? Could she be fully healed, ready for the Rumble? So, of course, Trish. Obviously, if Trish goes at it, oh my God. Think about the thing with Lita. Think about her rivalry with Mickie James. You know that there'll be a lot of moments there that people would be psyched about in St. Louis if that happens. I think Lita will win the Royal Rumble because obviously they're gonna want to. I think if anyone from Raw wins it, obviously they're gonna go after Becky Lynch. Okay, fine. But you're talking about marquee matchups, once in a lifetime matches at WrestleMania. What would anybody give to see Lita versus Charlotte one-on-one at WrestleMania in a main event match at WrestleMania? I think this is a foregone conclusion, folks. Winner is Lita. Anthony, it's yours.
Oh, man. And I'm glad you made this the main event, MF, because like I said, I mean, I'm looking more forward to this Royal Rumble match than the men's because of the talent that's been announced and everything else. And what needs to be addressed here is the Mickie James thing. I mean, obviously, obviously Bullock doesn't watch Impact Wrestling, and MF used to because of the Twitch, but obviously he can't anymore unless he does that YouTube membership. So, but anyways, the point I'm trying to make is last night on Impact Wrestling, Mickie James had what was called a State of the Knockout address. Gail Kim introduced her, and Mickie James cut a great promo, and she talked about the Royal Rumble match. And she said that if I win the Royal Rumble, I want to defend whoever I decide to face. I want to defend my Impact Knockouts championship against that women's champion in a title for title winner take all match. Whoa, could you imagine? You want to talk about opening the forbidden door? That would be something. Would I like to see that happen? I would. I would love to see that. And she's already made it clear. She's gonna bring the Knockouts championship belt with her to when she comes out tomorrow night in the Royal Rumble match. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Going into tonight, MF, I'm going to be honest with you. I had Naomi winning the Women's Royal Rumble match, especially after she beat Sonia Deville on Smackdown tonight. But now that Sonia threw the monkey wrench in there about her being in there, I got a bad feeling that Sonia's going to screw Naomi over, and that's going to prevent her from winning. Lita right now seems to be the safe choice. They obviously maybe, it's the classic case of the Hall of Famer getting one last title push. We've seen this over the years. We saw it with Bill Goldberg. We saw it with Edge. And even though Edge didn't win the title, Goldberg did. But we'll have to wait and see on this. Another standout would be Bianca Belair. Could Bianca win for the second year in a row and set up that big money match with Becky Lynch at WrestleMania and have Bianca get her payback from SummerSlam after Becky humiliated her at Allegiant Stadium? That's another realistic option. As is with the men's Rumble match, I believe there will be some surprise entrants. I believe there could be some more Forbidden Door entrants. But I think we already have one on the women's side. I wouldn't be surprised if they do one on the men's side either. I mean, I've heard some dirt sheets saying that they are considering a Forbidden Door talent on the men's side. We just don't know who. But with all that being said, there is someone that I have in mind. Like I said, I was if the Sonya thing didn't happen, I would have made the bold pick and I would have said Naomi. Maybe they can still get there. Maybe they could have Naomi eliminate Charlotte. You know, a la Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar 2 years ago. That's a very realistic possibility, and that could set that up. But there's one thing. I have a surprise entrant winning this Royal Rumble match. And there are dirt sheets out there saying that this woman could be on her way back to WWE. And if this is true, get ready for what could be the biggest women's main event in WrestleMania history, which would be even bigger than what we saw at WrestleMania 35. You thought that was big? You thought Sasha and Bianca last year was big? This would be even bigger. And I don't want to give too much away, but I'm going with this surprise entrant to win the women's Royal Rumble match. And I believe that surprise entrant will go after Becky Lynch and set up what could be the biggest women's match in WrestleMania history.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But I'm going with this because there have been rumors about this individual coming back.
I've heard of those rumors, and I've heard of that entrant. So I know exactly who you're talking about. Because I've heard those rumors too. If it is her, that'd be a wow, because I don't think none of us would have saw that coming. But I will say this. If that is the payoff, and that does go, and that person does indeed challenge Becky for the Raw Women's title, that will be a hell of a main event for WrestleMania. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That would be a main event for one of the two nights. There would be no guarantee. There would be no doubt in my mind. The one other person that I'm going to talk about that could also win it, that we're not talking about here, is actually Alexa Bliss.
That's right.
Because, remember,
the journey.
And I
Those
do
therapy
believe that this journey will lead her not to Raw, but to SmackDown to go after Charlotte Flair.
Because of the Lily situation. At Extreme Rules.
So I do believe that, okay, if your person, who I know who you're talking about, goes after Becky Lynch, you need somebody to go after the Queen. That would be the perfect person. Alexa Bliss. And it would tie everything all together in one nice bow, as I would say.
Perhaps maybe they do that perhaps in the chamber match in Saudi Arabia next month.
Possible. No doubts. I wouldn't put it against it, but we'll see. All right. So we'll figure it out on Sunday night when it's all said and done, how this plays out at 10:30 Eastern. But let me tell you, folks, get ready. This is going to be a wild ride, folks. For Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Enjoy the Royal Rumble, folks. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday night.